All right, we're going to start this off with Captain Hassel. He's division commander over the division that's conducted this investigation. I'm going to turn it over to him at this time.
Thank you, Chief. Everybody hear me? I want to thank everyone for being here today. First of all, let me start by saying that the men and women of this department, especially those in the investigative division, did an exceptional job in this investigation. Without their commitment and hard work, we could not be standing here today doing a press release. A lot of long hours were put in by these officers, and a lot of resources were used during this investigation. We actually had investigators walking block to block downtown looking for evidence. Their work was second to none, and I couldn't be more proud of them. So thank you for the investigators and the hard work they put in. Secondly, let me thank the victim's father, Mr. Pickett, for working with us and not against us. Mr. Pickett entrusted the Prattville Police Department to bring justice for his son, Perez, and he knew that the investigation would not be completed in a short time. This will be a lengthy and drawn-out investigation, and I want to thank Mr. Pickett, the victim's father, for working with us. Now, moving on, I am pleased to announce that the Prattville Police Department has identified the driver and the vehicle involved in a hit-and-run crash that took the life of Perez Pickett on the night of September 4th, 2022. We obtained warrants for 29-year-old black male Robert Marshall Jr., also going by the name of Rilo, and you'll see his picture behind me on the screen here. We are imploring that Mr. Marshall turn himself in, and we're actively looking for him and his vehicle, which is described as a 2006 white BMW X5. We know this vehicle will have damage to the front driver's side of it. Anyone with information to Mr. Marshall's whereabouts should contact the police department at 595-0208. With that, I'll turn it back over to you, Chief.
Again, I want to thank the media that's here, the real media, for being here and working with us through this. When we've released anything, y'all released the truth. Not like social media and Uncut. We've had a lot of false information being put out by that source that took a lot of time and effort to disprove some of the things that were being put out. One thing that we're not, if the public knows me and the department, we're not in the habit of releasing a victim's name when something happens, because we want the family to have time to grieve. So we took some heat from some members of some of the family on that, but that was one reason we don't release the victim's name, is to let them grieve and have time to deal with what's happened. We don't release details of the crime, especially to Uncut and social media. When we have enough to make a case, we have them release, and we release this information to the real media. So again, I'm not, myself or my department will never answer to social media or Uncut on details when we're investigating a crime. If it concerns the public, we'll let them know. Like I said, the false information was ridiculous. This was not a cover-up. It wasn't as put out by certain people. At no time was the public in danger that was put out by the Uncut. So people just need to listen to the facts and not falsehoods that's put out by people that have nothing to do but sit around and play on a computer. With that said, I couldn't be more proud of this department for the effort that was put into this investigation. It's like any investigation we conduct, we do everything we can to bring a closure to it, and this is just a prime example of what this department is capable of doing. So with that, there's really not any questions we're going to be able to answer, because this is an ongoing investigation, but we do have enough to have signed warrants on this suspect, and we do have enough for conviction. So I thank y'all for coming, and really thank y'all for being honest and working with us. Thank you.
So there you have it, the announcement from the Prattville Police Department that they have identified the driver, the man who they believe was the driver in that deadly hit-and-run crash. They say it was 29-year-old Robert Marshall Jr. They showed us his picture on the screen behind the chief there earlier. However, they have not arrested him. They have not found him. And so they are imploring the public to help in the search for that suspect. They say that he was driving a white BMW X5, early 2000s model, and that vehicle would likely have damage to the front driver's side. So if you have information, you are encouraged to call Prattville Police and give that information so that they can begin the search for that driver. They also, interestingly enough, talked a little bit about social media and the issues that they've been having with false information. They even called out one particular Facebook page and said that it was important that people realize that information that you find on that page or other social media pages is not necessarily factual information. And they thanked outlets like WSFA 12 News for being there for today's news conference and covering what the chief called the real news and being the real media. Now, if you have information about the car or the driver, you are encouraged to call Prattville Police. We want to let you know that the Prattville Police have two phone numbers I'm going to give you here. The main number is 595-0208. Again, that's 595-0208. You can also reach the Criminal Investigations Division directly at 595-0250. Again, that's area code 334-595-0250. These are some of the pictures from WSFA.com, which we have been showing you, of that now we know white BMW X5, which is in the background of these pictures. Here's another image. This was taken from a security camera at a gas station that was not too far away. It was hard for us to make out that vehicle, but we do now know the make and model. It is an early 2000s BMW X5. It is white, and there would be damage, police say, to the front driver's side. So if you see that vehicle, or perhaps you know the driver who has been identified by police, then you should call the Prattville Police Department. They gave us his name. It's Robert Marshall Jr. He is 29 years old, and he is still on the run this afternoon. Thanks everyone for watching this special live broadcast on our online platforms. I'm Mark Bullock at the WSFA Now desk. We will have much more on this for you coming up on WSFA 12 News at 5 and 6 tonight. Much more from our crew that was there at that news conference this afternoon. Thanks to everyone for watching this live event.